Hi, I'm Holland Fox, and I'm the one who found and reported a lot of the mold in Johnson. I'm in room 29, and I know that the mold is not only in my room and that I was not the first to report it. I have numerous questions. How long have you known about the mold in Johnson before this?
So this only came to my attention on Monday, the 29th, or I'm sorry, the 30th. So I have not seen any other reports of mold that were brought to my attention. So
Okay, well,
answer based on what I know.
okay, I know that there's an article from the Sewanee Purple, and it was published back in February of this year, and it was talking about black mold in Johnson on the first floor. Um,
That was the incident I talked about earlier about the plumbing water coming into that one room that had to be remediated.
Um, how many reports have you had issued total over the past couple of years?
I've only seen the log of 1 year, and I think that there were about 25 reports. Now, every report is examined, or every incident is examined, and then they test to see whether or not it's mold, whether it's mildew, or just dust. And about half of those are instances of dust that have accumulated, as opposed to actual mold or mildew. And then based upon the analysis that's conducted by the risk management office that does the environmental testing, they act accordingly and analyze what type of mold it may be, and then remedy the situation. And depending on the situation, they may treat it on the surface, or in some cases, they may relocate students and then do remediation, such as pulling up carpet, things of that sort. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Well, that 25 numbers for campus wide, not Johnson Hall.
Okay. Okay. If mold was an issue beforehand, why wasn't this information disclosed to us girls before moving in? Like, why didn't we learn about the mold and what to look for and how to properly report it?
We've never had this issue in Johnson, this
Okay.
air conditioned vents. We're the one room, but this is kind of a new one for us where we have a building wide mold issue because of mechanical failure.
Okay.
And which was reported, which the first report was on the 30th. And so that was when we brought to our attention. And over the next couple of days, through testing and trial and error, we figured out what the issue is.
Okay. And lastly, risk management had tried to blame me and my roommate for the mold that was in our room because windows were left open. We have not opened the windows since even before the rain, and the only times that we had the windows open was when we were present in the room, and we know the difference of the noise level of compared to when we have the windows open and when we have the windows closed, because we can hear the cars outside, we can hear people, we can hear the birds, we can hear the wind. And then the triple right above us is not rentable due to mold and has obvious water damage from the ceiling to the floor.
Sorry, repeat that one.
The triple that is right above my room, I'm in room 29, and the triple on the third floor has been closed and has not been rented out. There is mold and it has obvious water damage from the piping from the ceiling to the floor.
I think that's been fixed. We haven't used that room. I'm not sure why we decided to use the room. I mean, of course, the room needs to be cleaned and remediated, but that issue was fixed in that room.
Okay.
I think, speaking for Res Light, blaming you for the windows open, I think it was probably just that was a possible reason why the humidity level was so high. Not really a blame, it was more of a trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay.
Because to get to 80% humidity, something else has to happen in order to get that high. And then they figured out when we had the second room, same issue. It's like, well, it wasn't a window issue, and that's what we started investigating the mechanical side and realized. So we're just going down a list of possible reasons, and so sorry you felt blamed.
So explain to me how fresh air from that system that blows into the hallways actually gets into the rooms. Because fresh air is a very important part of an air conditioning system. And that's one of the ways you get humidity out of rooms. How do the girls' rooms get that fresh air that only blows into the hallways?
Well, ASHRAE, which is our governing body that takes care of all the mechanical codes, at the time of the construction of the mechanical system, that was the way they designed them. Basically, you put fresh air into the hallways, and then just like your house, you don't have return in all your rooms. You're basically asking for air to travel underneath the door, and as the door opens and closes, to circulate fresh air. Now, in your common rooms, of course, you need to bring direct fresh air into there to circulate because you have so many minimum amount of bodies that requires. So this system is basically just like a house system in that it provides recirculating air in the common areas, and then in the bedrooms, it basically pulls air underneath the door, and when the door opens and closes. In this situation, because we weren't providing enough fresh air, it put the building in a negative situation where it was pulling air from anywhere it could. So a lot of it was probably coming from the cracks around windows or doors, and that's why it was pulling in more moisture from the outside.
So is the fresh air system blowing air out of the building or pulling air into the building?
The fresh air is pulling air into the building.
Okay.
And so creating a more positive atmosphere where the older air is being pushed out.
Okay. And so how does that get into the rooms? Because the rooms, if the door is closed, there's nothing in that room that will pull it in. In a central air system like in our homes, if you have air blowing into a room, the hallway vent sucks the air back to the unit, and then the unit filters it and blows it back into the room. In this scenario, you're pushing air into the hallway, but how does it get into the room, and then how does it get out of the rooms? And each room has its own mini split. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay. So just like your house is pulling air from underneath the door, and every time the door opens and closes.